Hi everyone, and thanks for making it to episode number 2 of So You Want to Be a Songwriter. I want to first apologize to those of you who watched episode 1. I'm new at this, so I put in a whole bunch of cameras and I hoped to get some good footage, and of course half of the cameras misfunctioned. Yeah. Damn it, Jim. I'm a songwriter, not a filmmaker. So I'm hoping I got all that fixed and that this time it's going to work a little bit better. Of course I won't know until I actually see the footage. Crossing my fingers here. And also I'm really going to try to really have less realies in this video. Hopefully that'll work. Again, fingers crossed. So today we're going to be going all the way to the start, something really basic but really important and really misunderstood, and that's inspiration. What is it? How does it work? Can you actually call inspiration just like that anytime you want to write? So, a couple of thousand years ago, the ancient Greeks, they believed in something that they called daemons. Now, daemons would take possession of an artist, and the daemon would create whatever, music, painting, sculpture, whatever, and then would leave the artist and go back to wherever realm they actually came from. That's actually, by the way, where the Catholic Church got the whole idea of possession from. Even the word demon comes from daemon. Now, why did the ancient Greeks not really believe that artists were creators? Why did they think that artists were just like puppets? Something not really important that could be controlled and that artists were unable to create? Well, to be quite honest, we're very much responsible for that as artists. Intentionally and unintentionally. Now, depending on where you're at as a songwriter, maybe you've never experienced this before. If not, you will experience it. Believe me, it's going to happen to you. At some point you get so involved into the writing process that you kind of lose track of what's happening. Kind of all your mind, all your brain is like lost in the background, and you're just writing and you kind of lose track and you don't really remember the actual act of songwriting. Give you an example. 20 some years ago, I just moved to Montreal. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a girlfriend. I had no money, of course. I had a lot of time on my hands, so I wrote a lot. And during this period, so I would get really involved into the writing to the point where I was just totally exhausted. I'd go to bed, then eventually I'd wake up, and I would, and go through whatever my routine and whatever, and at some point in the day I'd go back to my computer to write. Now I write using Guitar Pro, and I use a word processor for the text. So I'd look into the files to see what I'd just done last time I was writing. Now one day I'm going through that, and I saw what I was working on the previous day, and I didn't really feel like continuing that idea, so I went through my different files, and I found this one called Flight of Fancy. Had a Guitar Pro file and the word processing file, the text file. Now I had zero memory of it. So I opened up both files, pressed play, and there's a completely arranged song from start to finish, and the whole text, everything. It's just ready to be recorded. Now, of course, no one else had access to my computer at the time, and I'm pretty sure no one decided to hack my computer just to insert a song. I don't think anybody's that nice, especially hackers. And so I look at the way the song is structured, the way it is structured, the way it's written. Yeah, that's me. I wrote that, no problems. And in the lyrics, a couple of things that are there that I definitely know that I wrote. Definitely me. I know where the ideas came from. But to this day, I have no memory at all of writing that song. And by the way, it's going to be on my upcoming album. And there are plenty of songs that I've written over the years that I barely remember, like parts here and there. I can remember maybe working on the song, but not the actual elements of it. Maybe once in a while there will be something, but overall, not much. So this is constant, and the more you get into writing, the more this is going to happen to you. Because your brain actually doesn't need you to really be conscious when you're doing it. As long as you can transfer to paper, to computer, whatever media you're using to write, your brain doesn't need the rest. It doesn't need you to be conscious of what's happening. The other thing, you've probably seen a lot of interviews like this where you'll get this famous artist just had a huge hit, and they ask the artist, like, where did he get the idea to write this song? And the artist will say, well, I was going to bed, I was sitting on the can, and it just struck me. So I went into my studio, and 10 minutes, the whole thing was written down. That's inspiration. We don't know where it comes from, and blah 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 blah. You've heard it. You've seen this interview hundreds of times. It's always the same thing. So by saying these kind of things to people who aren't songwriters, who aren't artists at all, try to imagine their reaction. You do something. You spent an hour writing a song, and you have no memory of it. You wrote a big hit and it just came like that out of the blue, like what the hell? So that's probably where the Greeks got the ideas of this possession, that the artist must be possessed by some creature. So we should, still is a process, it still is the way it works, but we still tend to have it be mysterious for non-initiates. Let's call it like that. If you've never gone through this, I get that it's not that easy to understand. I get it. So let's go through that and see what the process really is, so that you can take advantage of it and make it work for you. Okay? So the eureka moment, like that song that just bang hits you like that and it's written in 10 minutes, that's pretty rare. It's going to happen to you a few times, not just once. It's going to happen a few times. It's not always going to be a good idea. Believe me, some of the stuff that you're going to come up with, sometimes it's going to be total crap. It happens. Hey, no harm done. But the other part, the inspiration that you just decide to sit down and write and you get lost into it, that you can do anytime, all the time. But you need to practice it, okay? You see, as us as artists, probably your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, has probably told you that you're not a very emotional person. You're going, what? Me? I'm the most emotional person you know. But everybody outside of you thinks that you're not emotional. And so they don't get it. And you don't get it either. Why are they saying this? It's because most of your emotions get stuck inside here. They don't get out. So people are not seeing those emotions, and they believe that you're cold. You know, my father recently died, and I can't say when it hit me, it wasn't a surprise, but still, to outward appearances, people would say, "Oh, my condolences," and it's okay. That's the outward. I mean, and I felt it inside, but only gradually as a process and not as a simple thing, not as an immediate, wow, oh my God, he's gone. It didn't happen like that. It happens in progressions, and sometimes at not the best times, but that's the way it works. So a lot of your emotion, most of your emotion gets caught inside your brain, and you're stuck living with it. If you don't get it out, well, what happens? Well, I've seen a lot of singers, a lot of songwriters, what happens to them, unfortunately. At some point, they just can't live with it anymore, and they do something about it. They do the worst thing possible. So, don't get to that point. Get into a habit of writing regularly. And if you do that, all of this emotion that's stuck inside your brain is going to come out in one form or another. It's not necessarily going to be clear, like if I'm not necessarily going to write a song about my dad dying, but parts of the process are going to make it into different songs, and the emotions eventually all going to come out. That's the process, and that's what you need to do. So get yourself a time when you know that you can sit down, not be bothered, and this is going to be your writing time. Say 1 or 2 hours a day, depending. It could be 15 minutes if that's all you have. That's not a problem. Although 15 minutes pretty much gets started and you have to stop. It's a bit tricky, but look, if it works, if it's the only thing you can do, do it. So you reserve that time. You go to wherever place that you write, and just write whatever comes out. Sure, you're going to get some really silly ideas, some bad ideas, but you're going to have some great ones too. It's not all going to be bad, So if you do that, well, every day, the more you do it, the more the ideas are going to come, and you're going to get to a period where you're going to be writing. You're just going to go in, bang, you're going to sit down, and you're going to start writing, and things are going to come out, and you're going to be getting songs out like one after another. You're going to be writing and writing and writing, and you're going to feel good inside. All that emotion that gets locked in is going to be out there. You're going to be dealing with it. Now, how about those, let's call them those eureka moments? I'm sitting on the can and boom, it strikes me. I'm sorry, I love coffee. Like I said, these are rare. These are more coming out of a resolution type of thing. It's not necessarily the right word, but here again, I'll give you an example. That's generally the best way to go. During that time period I was telling you about, one day I started writing a piece of music, and here. See what I did there? Getting better at this. So I usually write my lyrics at the same time as I write my music. And in this case, I ended up with a song that was about a boat ride, which doesn't make sense to me. That music doesn't tell me about a boat ride. I don't think so. I don't see it like that. So I threw that out, and I gave it another shot, and it ended up being a song about murder. It's not a song about murder either. I was frustrated, I threw that out, started writing something else, and it was pure nonsense right off the bat. Stopped. Now that evening I went on to a writer's forum. I was really frustrated, so I wrote about it. So I wrote this experience, like how I felt about it. And there was this girl, Canadian girl, Heather. Sorry, your name just doesn't pop up. It was a long time ago. And she said, look, can I give it a try? So I said, sure. I sent her the music. She sent me some lyrics the next day. She called it Rose and was about a lost girl. Now that made a lot more sense than what I'd written. They were good lyrics, not something I would write. The genre was totally different, but they were good lyrics anyways. So not long after that, I put a band together, and we played the song, and we played it using her lyrics for a couple of years, 2-3 years, I forget. And we actually recorded it, but never released it. I don't even know if I still have that recording, but there you go. And then song was put away, went into another music project, and then I came back to it, and I thought, I'd like to have my own lyrics on it. Not that Heather's lyrics weren't good, they were great, but I'd like to have something that's more me. And started writing, and it became a love song, which makes even less sense than everything else. Screw that. Threw it away, and then I worked on Human Gods, and then on God Inc. Lots of gods, and I'm an atheist. Go figure. But this is all about Greek gods and not factual or non-factual gods, whatever. It's not about religion. Although I still wonder how so many people thought that God Incorporated was a Christian music band. Never understood that one. So, where was I? Oh yeah, when we came to work on the second God Inc. record that never got made, partially made, couple of tracks were worked on, which will be released eventually. Maybe on the next album, maybe on the following one, I'm not sure. We'll see. I went through my catalog and I found the song again. I'd completely forgotten about it. So I'm thinking, yeah, it's time I put my own lyrics on it. Now, this particular period, to show you how the eureka moment happens, I'll have to rewind a few years back. About 2 years before, there had been this case in the media here that was very popular. That's really the wrong word. That was very famous or infamous, about a girl who'd been raped incessantly by her father ever since she was a little girl, and now she was, I think, 50, and was still happening daily. And it was a terrible thing. And I remember when the mother was put on the stand, they asked her, "You have any knowledge of this?" She said, "Well, if it happened, I didn't know." Like in your own house every day. Whatever. That bothered me. The whole thing bothered me. I didn't know really what bothered me about. Apart from the obvious, there was something more that bothered me, which I didn't really know what. Now, at the moment, I took the song back out. We fast forward, go forward a few years, and so I decided I'm going to write, really put in a good effort to write some good lyrics for the song. There's another case that's in the media. This one involved a celebrity, and anyways, this one was very, very different, but when the mother was put on the stand, they said, "Did you know this was happening?" And she said, "Yes." 2 daughters. And she said, yes. And they said, why didn't you do anything about it? Well, you know him. No one would have believed me, which was totally false. And he would have killed me. Who knows? I wasn't there. But this was just happening. I wanted to get lyrics, this case, to the previous one. Bang together, Eureka, I know what's bothering me. What is bothering me that is a cat is this big, she has kittens, and if you try and touch them, she's going to kill you, or she's going to die trying. Not those mothers. That's what bothered me. And then I went, Eureka, my song, this is what my song is about. And I went in the studio. It took me about 10 minutes to get the lyrics down. And they're really good this time, I'm happy to say. Well, I think so. I hope you'll think so too, but I love them. And of course, it's never happened to me. I don't know anybody to who it's happened, or if I do know someone who went through that, they never told me about it. So I don't have details. I tried to make the story without, I especially didn't want it to bother anyone to who it had happened. So I don't go into details. It's just frames of mind, stuff that just flew through my head. To bring it to the final verse, Daddy throws you on the bed, tears your dress to shreds, Mommy hides under the sheets, pretending she can't hear. That was the point. You see, so the whole song is about those two lines. Mommy hides under the sheets, pretending she can't hear. That's all I wanted to say. The rest is all building up to it. That was the eureka moment. What had been bothering me, I could finally put it into words rather than keep it in emotions that I didn't necessarily understand. So that eureka moment, that's what it is. It's just your brain realizing what has been bothering it. What has been telling it that, whoa, this is crap. This is bad. This needs to... Your brain is juggling through it, and here it is. It's presented to you. This is what it is. So it's been going through your brain for weeks, months, years. So it's been writing itself all this time. That's why it only takes 10 minutes to write. Because in the back of your brain has been working on the song all this time. So it's just a matter of taking all those pieces, putting them together up front. And so, by the way, they're not a sponsor. It's just a nice big coffee cup I love. And so that's all it is. That's really all it is. Like I said, it's not going to happen to you very often, and sometimes what you're going to come up with is going to be really bad. But when you do hit that really good moment, that really good song, that really good idea, it makes a brilliant song, something. Maybe everybody else is going to hate it, but you're going to love it, and that song is going to be important to you. And that's all that counts, right? Even if everybody else thinks it's crap, who cares? As long as you like it. That's all you want. So on this note, we're going to end the show here. I'm going to try and be, I know it's been like a few weeks since the first episode, so I'm going to try and make more at a faster rhythm, but please do understand that this is the 2020s musical scene. I don't make money off of music, so I have to have a full-time job. Like I said, this house has been under renovation for 7 years. I do the work, and I try to get a life too, so I find that fun. So I don't have all the time I'd like to work on this, but I will try and make episodes a bit more frequently, because there's a lot of ground to cover. And by the way, if you have any ideas, things that you would like me to cover, specific questions or subjects, please write them in the comment, and I'll do my best to get to them. and build a show around them, or build them into a show, depending on if it's just a question or whatever. Maybe we can have shows of Q&As. And so please don't be a stranger. Write in your comments, and if you're so inclined, then you would like to support the show, well, like I said, I love my coffee, so you can always buy me a coffee. You can go to the website, get to Bandcamp, and buy an album. Just like, share the video. That's already great. Thanks for being there. I appreciate it. Have a good day.